So that is basically my project summarized, and I hope it was of interest to you. If anybody had any questions or wanted to discuss any parts of the projects, I'd be happy to answer, or just discuss amongst yourself. But yeah, that's the floor open now to you.
Thank you, John, very much.
Yep, no problem.
I think just one comment that I would not comment, but the thing I would add is that, and I'm sure the rest of you will understand this completely, that when we first met John, he was recommended the project, or he came about it through his supervisor, William Holderbaum. And for John, with his background in software and then coming into robotics, it was like, I've just moved to a different planet. Someone is giving me, I can see Ryan smiling because he knows this one completely. Someone is just saying to him, cerebral palsy and things like that. And it's just a whole new world with its whole complexities. And I do congratulate you, John, on taking all that on board in a very short space of time.
Oh, thank you.
And achieving what you have achieved. Well,
it's very interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, How long did this project take you, John?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll let you take over.
So I first read the project brief and got accepted onto it in nearly a year ago, and then I had finished my project proposal by January, and then I finished the actual project in September. So I suppose actual work about 9 or 10 months.
I think you made good progress in that short space of time.
Oh, thank you.
And the concept to me looked pretty good. You gave a price of what, £700?
Yeah.
Is that the component cost?
Yeah, that includes everything, to be honest. It's a bit of an estimate, but it's quite accurate, I think, because it includes the price of the plastic that I used, the price of the energy to run all of the printers for the amount of hours that I did, all of the electrical components. I'm forgetting something, but I covered everything that cost money in my estimation of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Ryan?
Yeah, thank you. So first, I just wanted to say well done on the talk and the project. It looks really nice. A nice final. It looks very professional, the final result. So coming from a slightly different area, not in robotics or electrical or mechanical engineering at all, even though it's in the faculty, I don't deal with it. I've got a simple question first. I don't really know what kind of standard your project is, if you know what I mean. So do other students normally produce a product as nice as this when they finish a master's project, or is yours quite a unique, outstanding one? Can you just help me out with that?
So it ended up being a lot more design orientated, and what I basically ended up producing was it was a technical conceptual model, I guess, whereas I could have taken it a lot more. I could have gone down a lot more of a technical route, and then I would have had something that would have probably produced some more real world results. But I focus quite heavily on the requirements and the combination of the mechanical and software and electrical. So I guess my values while going through was making sure that, as Penny said, I was understanding the field correctly and the requirements, and then hopefully demonstrating what could be created in this field.
Yeah.
I hope that answers.
Yeah. So you mentioned William as well. I've not heard his name for a while. Is he still at MMU?
He is. He works part-time though. He's quite a busy guy, and I
Yeah.
met him once in person, but mostly remotely.
I think I met him once or twice as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, lovely guy.
So I have a slightly technical question, which you might have addressed in the talk, but people were popping in and out of my office, so apologies if I've missed it. But
No
I wondered, could the grip, is it intended to hold the child, and could it grip the child tight enough to do a Satco without hurting them? And how would you even start addressing that?
So some of the things that I looked into were how much force the actuators inside could actually pull downwards. I think in this case, each actuator could pull. They were demonstrated with a 20 kilogram weight that they were holding, and it could pull it up.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing is that you might notice. I've stopped sharing my screen, but I'll share it again for just a moment.
Yeah.
So you can see on this picture over here that I tried to reinforce the side of the sockets there.
Mm-hmm.
So in concept, that should, when force is being applied, that should hold some of it. Then also the locking mechanism, that if anything could be improved of the whole design, it would be that, because it's a bit shaky, and the gears could be a bit tighter, but if that is a kind of, you know, really concisely constructed locking mechanism without much sort of room for it to shake about, I believe that would also help the tightness.
How important do you think it is, the tactile, the feel of the child, and knowing whether you're kind of crushing their body or not supporting them tightly enough, or how would you address that mechanically?
So, well, the force sensors that go underneath, they would obviously feed back, and then it would be quite easy to program then based on maybe the weight of the child. So, you know, you'd need to grip a bigger child with a bigger force. So I think that if you've got that sort of information feeding back to the device, and you set the force sensors to stop at a certain amount of force for each individual child, that would probably be the solution.
Okay, I can see Richard's got a question, so I'll be quiet for a minute. Thank you.
It's okay, no hurry. Hi, John.
Yeah. Hi, Richard.
Well, first of all, congratulations on the whole project and
Thank you.
presenting it. But I feel it is my job to be at least a little bit critical. And in terms of putting the presentation together, maybe I went to sleep for a moment, but I missed the real nub of what this device was supposed to do. And I suspect that probably led to some of the questions that John was raising. And I know it's in the title that it's an assistive device, but I felt in your opening description it would have been helpful to have included a bit about that.
Okay.
But you know, that's for if you choose to present this to other people. One of the questions I felt a little bit uncertain about towards the end was the medical device classification.
Okay.
The fact that it's mains powered, I think, will automatically take it out of class 1.
Okay.
How far it goes into class 2 would be open to debate. I think you're probably safe that it's not class 3. Although you might have to be cautious there, because we would take the view, well, you've already expressed the view that it's got force sensors, so it is measuring And so the moment you get into a device that measures, then that raises questions in the medical device classification. So, you know, if you were to be examined on this by somebody, I'd advise looking a bit more closely at that.
Okay.
And I feel confident that you can't put it into class 1.
Okay.
But and well, that's largely all I wanted to say. But right at the beginning, you had a diagram. I think, oh, it was a SATCO diagram.
Yeah.
And you credited it to Science Direct. And I was just going to say, what's Science Direct? I don't think I've come across that.
So it was a while ago that I cited that, but it was, I could send you the actual link if you want. I could find it again. But
that would be useful. Yes, please.
Yeah, yeah. It was just, I just thought rather than making my own diagram when there's already perfectly good ones.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just being interested to know where stuff gets presented.
Yeah, no, I can send that on to you. That's fine.
Okay, cheers. I'll give way to Penny now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Two things. The diagram is from one of Maria's papers.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
So yeah, it's a public. It's certainly in her thesis, but I think that diagram or something similar was used in a publication. So it'll be in one of the journals that comes under the auspices of Science Direct, or it may be on there as well. So it's probably a diagram that features in a lot of places, to be honest. That's one thing. Going back to what Rich was saying about sort of putting your device into context, on that diagram right at the beginning was where you were laying the philosophy of how it was to be used, how your device was to be used. And what might help is just by, on that diagram or a schematic of it, is to just put in the robotic hands underneath the physiotherapist's hands, just to show sort of in principle how that works. I mean, you said it in words. You said it in words, and I understood because I know what it was intended to do. But it might have been a bit swift for others.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
There you go. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Richard, is your hand still up? Or
yeah, it's come back up again. Because one other thing that I wanted to add for the benefit of other people logged in was, you know, you talked about the meetings we had. I think we ought to stress that every one of those meetings was a virtual meeting, and that we've never met in person, and that, you know, I think that stresses how well you've done in picking up the ideas and trying to turn them into a practical device. And you should be under no illusions that that's not easy. So congratulations on that.
No, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, second that. That is that's quite impressive that you've never met and you've produced that. Well done.
Oh no, yeah. I mean it was, well, if I could just say, because I've done group projects and stuff before with other students, but it was just really rewarding to work with Penny and Richard, who aren't students, who are in their careers, and you know, it was a really professional environment, and yeah, I really appreciate the support throughout it all.